Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Bookish Artist Mandy here, and I am coming at you today with a new series type thing called I Will Be Done When I'm Done, because I have so many darn pink inks, I don't know what to do with myself. That's kind of what I've decided. That's probably not what I'm going to put in the description, but that's basically what we're here today. So if you are ready for some fun pink inks that I have not enough and probably too many, sit back and enjoy yourself. Grab a cup to drink, grab your pens, grab everything. If you really love pink ink, I'm your girl. I have so much pink ink that I need to do this inventory for myself. And so here we go. I'm going to explain all my tools and then we will get started. Okay, so this is kind of messy, but this is the first part of this. So this is 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. It was loose leaf paper that I cut down. I am working on different ways of categorizing and swatching and putting inks so I can try things. And I have the same size with MD paper that I've cut down from an A4. And so then I've tried this. This is not pink. Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. I think Romeo and Juliet, Wearing Ghoul's colors. This one's a reddish pink for Juliet, and then Romeo is like a grayish with purple shimmer. I think, don't quote me because I can't remember. That's why I'm swatching them. But this I only had a sample of. And the whole point of this series is I'm swatching these fancy little things, and I'm going to get a little booklet to put them in. I'm swatching fancily on different papers to see how my inks play and see how they work differently. So my goal is to play around with different ways. So I used a chalk stamp. I used this Versa Magic chalk ink where it doesn't really show even on the Tomoe River paper, which is super, super thin. I saw this on somebody else's channel. I picked one up. They have a whole bunch of colors. I got it off Amazon and I'm really liking it. Before I used the Ranger archival inks and I still have them, but they bleed through on paper. And I even just used them last week or earlier this week, whenever, and I was mad because I forgot that they bled through. So I wanted a stamp to kind of look like one of those wax things. And then I put ink in here with a drop. I dropped it and used, this is what I'm using. I'm using my swatcher from Myers Pen Co. with the blank that I helped them design. And there is a coffee bean. How cool are those? They offer these. I don't know if they have any on their website right now, but they do offer these if you go to their website or their Facebook page. And then I used my Kakamori brass nib here. I hate whatever brand this holder is, but I cannot find for the life of me my deleter one that was a cheaper one, but very much so a lot nicer in my opinion, because ink gets all stuck in here and it gets really dirty and I hate it. So I don't like this one very much, but I do use it. So I have that. That's my Kakamori brass nib and I use that here. Sometimes I don't quite use this correctly and it gets all wonky, but I use that. And this is a glass pipette. I switched to a glass pipette because they're just easier to clean and better for the environment. So then I only have to have a few and I'm not using plastic. So I am trying slowly. And then I have two different sizes Hokoro dip pens, one in the medium and one in the 2.0 stub nib. So I used that here and I use that here. And so and then a paintbrush. And this one is a Velvet Touch Princeton. This is a synthetic brush. Love it. Love it. And the stamp was from this BGM collection that I got off Atlas. So those are the tools that I'm using. And I wanted to quickly mention, oh, here's the stamp too. So I got the BGM stamp block, Really like how thick it is. It's wonderful. I'm going to take that stamp off in a little bit here, but that's the tools I'm using. So I don't know how many pieces of paper I have here. I have some. And when I am done with this stack of pre-stamped paper, that's when I'm done with the swatches for now, because this little series is going to go until it's done. So I don't know how many videos it will be, but I am going to do it probably once a week, kind of like I've been doing my ink samples, just so I can kind of space it out. I have so many ink samples to still catalog. I'm just really trying to focus on cataloging my inks, using what I have before I go out and buy more, which isn't always the best, which I'm not always the best at, and I already am not the best at. Yes, I have more ink coming to me, but I love the different ways that I could use the ink. So I want to showcase that so I can see, ooh, I want to paint with this one. Ooh, it maybe doesn't write very well. And for that, I am going to use the same quote from this book, Bunny by Mona Awad. It is the first 3 sentences. I felt like you needed the seriously Bunny. But this book, Bunny by Mona Awad, is one of my favorite books. It's ridiculous. It's satire. It's horror. It is, yeah, I love this book so much. And there is a sequel. So I am going to be rereading this. And so I thought, why not kick off my rereading by using it as a first sentence to write on this paper. So that's what we're going with. I drew a little bunny, kind of an homage to this. I thought, for the sake of this, to see the different nuances in all of the colors that I have, I wanted to have different sections, but I want them to be the same. So I'm going to be drawing and writing bunny the same, so I have them and I can compare them and that I can show you. So without further ado, let's get started. Also, this is not one that's going to go in there because it's more of a reddish pink, maybe, but it's also not a bottle. I don't have a bottle of this. So we are just sticking with my bottles. Goodness, that was a long-winded intro, but that's me. First one I am doing, I just have them all kind of over here. It is Robert Oster's Cherry Blossom. I'm going to go in here with a little bit of this. And then I'm going to throw just a little bit right there. I also have water and paper towel, as you can see, so I can do this and move my water over here. My water mug right now is my defunct old business. Defunct, I say. I closed down my business, but I remember getting this this mug because I had designed this logo. It's not that great, but I was so proud of myself at the time. But gosh, it feels like and obviously I've been out of my business since 2022, but it feels like a whole lifetime ago that I ran a whole business where I made doll clothes. And you see the bunny? It's funny. It's funny how bunnies show up in my life. Maybe I should take that as a synchronicity sign. As like synchronicity is this thing that Julia Cameron has been talking about in the Artist's Way. I don't know how much I buy it, but she does. So I don't know. Maybe I should be a little bit more open to that kind of stuff. But I've been burned by the whole intrinsic kismet stuff before. I'm trying. However, funny enough, kismet, serendipity, I recently got another Tamagotchi, or I got a Tamagotchi, as you'd see on one of my videos from last week. And now Hobonichi announced that they're doing Tamagotchi as one of their planner themes. And so I'm very excited because I feel like everybody's getting into the nostalgia, right? I literally, though, thought it was really funny because I was at this small little game store and they had this tiny little display of them. They were kind of stuffed in a corner. So the fact that they're coming everywhere is kind of fun. I love this color. Maybe I should do this in manuscript. See, I struggle sometimes with this Kakamori nib. I should pull out my steel one, but I wanted this one because this one has thicker lines. But I can't always get the proper angle with it. I'm really not great at that. And I think it's because I am left-handed. There, see, and then I get it. And then I think, yes. But I want these to be very similar. So I wanted that really thick line that Karina Loves to Plan gets. Love her thick line like that she does in hers. And then she does that middle and the thin. I can't always do it very well. But, and then did I do anything else? Yes, I did this. Maybe. And that's it with my Kakamori brass nib. And I really want to lift up a little bit more of this ink here so I can see it like super, super, super watered down, because that's important. And it is pilling a little bit, but that's to be expected with that amount of water. Okay. And lid. Oh, no, I need next part. We call them bunnies because that is what they call each other. I haven't put this ink in a pen in a long time, but this was one of my first favorite inks, like favorite inks that I had. It was one of my first samples that I bought. And I used the sample up literally within 2 days. I was writing with it so much, so I had to buy a whole bottle. But then I thought, oh man, which one do I like more? Do I like Australis Rose? Do I like Plum Nut? Do I like Cherry Blossom? And I ended up buying full bottles of all of them, and they are subtly different. They are really similar, all three of them, but they are all subtly different. And there is something about this one in particular that I love so much. This one in Australis Rose, which I also have, and I think I'm doing next, unless I grab a different ink. I do want to give him an eye this time. And I'm getting used to this Hokoro stub. I'm getting used to stubs. I'm trying to get better at them. I want to figure out how to actually do calligraphy with them, but I'm not very good. Not very good with stub nibs because you have to have a specific angle. And I have yet to figure out that angle. Sometimes I feel like left-handers have a little bit of a harder way with angles and this kind of stuff. So maybe that's it. I'm going to say that. Right-handers, please don't shatter my dreams and say, no, it's just always hard. Okay, please don't, unless you really want to. I mean, I guess if you want to shatter my dreams and visions. And then I put bunny. Maybe. See, because I love how it looks when you get that thick and then thin. But sometimes I think the angle that I get and the amount of pressure, because you've got to be really careful with pressure too, because if you put too much pressure, then it doesn't work. Thick thin, thick. So I feel like it's just nuance that I have to get better at. And doing this will definitely help. But what I love, and as I put this on different, when it goes on to, like paper towels and you see the chromatography, this ink has this lovely deep shade of pink. And then it has a bright, bright blue as an undertone. Ooh, it's just so beautiful. I love this color so much. And it still needs to dry, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I always forget how much I love it. And then I use it again and think, oh yeah, I do. I do. I do. I do. Okay. I did grab Australis Rose next. Here we go. 2, 3. Grab one right there. I think that's good. Maybe. Yeah. I'm so weird. Oh, I did in the first one put did kind of this thing where I drew with the I'm not gonna do it, but I did in this one. I drew with the Hokoro, but I don't think I need to do that. I think it looks lovely without and gives me a chance to see the ink more. Now, see, Australis Rose is definitely redder than Cherry Blossom. And that is one of the things I love so much about this ink. This ink is I don't know. They're both just lovely in their own ways. This is very peachy pink when it gets, I don't know what you call it, when it gets down into and diluted with water. Let's see if I can get this Kakamori brass nib to work. Yeah, look at that. It also works really well with wet inks. And sometimes I don't know which inks are wet and dry until I put them on my Kakamori. I'm sure other people feel that. I need to turn my paper. Welcome to the left-hander's life. I always have to have my paper at an angle so I don't, get my hand in this. And now, interestingly, I think in writing on regular paper, and even sometimes in my sketches, Australis Rose and Cherry Blossom look so similar. But looking at this on Tomoe River paper, whew, are they different? And yeah, that's why I think these two, but I think Plum Nut is probably a lot more similar to Australis Rose than I thought it was, but maybe it's not. I don't know. That's another one I'm going to have to catalog, but I don't think I have it in my pile today. So I'll have to get that one out. Sorry if you can hear my dog. She is something. I tell you what, she wants to be outside so bad, but then I'm not outside with her. So then she wants back in. And then it's like, but then 5 minutes later, if I let her in, she wants back in or wants back out. It's just this like back and forth. And I get so irritated. So, but then my old dude, Brutus, he'll sit out there for hours and then decide, okay, it's time to come in. And if I don't let him in when he paws at the door, he'll go down to my husband's window and paw at the window down there until my husband tells me to let them in. It's really, really funny. He's so cute. Oh, now my old guy is pawn, which means he wants in. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go get him. All right. See, this is why I like doing these things, because look at how different they look next to each other. And even in the writing, this one is far more pinky red. Like you can look here, they are different. They are way different. Even in their writing, I think. I think. But that's just me. That's my opinion. And I'm sticking to it. Which is why I have them. However, there's other inks in my collection that are very, very similar to these too. But it's those subtle nuances that I think are so beautiful. The biggest reason I think I love fountain pens is because of the ink. Because there's just so many factors in the color showing up and the ink showing up. If it was just regular old boring black ink, I would tell you I would probably not have stuck with fountain pens. I probably would have just went back to, my Bic whatever, or gosh, what did I love? I think it was a Bic, but it wasn't the cheap Bic. It was like a fancier Bic. But I just love the ink so much. It is the coup de grace of doing this. I'm starting to. I feel like stub nibs get into a groove, and you're yeah. That's at least how I feel. I do really like this Australis Rose. It is such a lovely color. This one, I have a hard time because while Cherry Blossom was one of my first samples and loves that I got, I almost feel like I ink Australis Rose up more. And I don't know why that is. I don't know what it is about Australis Rose over Cherry Blossom, because looking at these, I love this one too. I should put that in a pen. Really enjoying what this is doing, like doing all of this is really helping me say, oh yeah, you haven't used that in a while. Use it, because eventually this stuff will evaporate after, years and years and change and all that. So you need to use it. Oop, I accidentally did a little doohickey there, but yeah, there's the first two inks. All right, next pink is a trendy one. I feel like everybody's kind of goo guying over this ink, which it's a beautiful ink. I just don't know if it's my favorite. I still need to. I offered to send this out to Allison at Little Coco Studios. And Allison, if you're watching this, I don't know. I know you've watched a couple of my videos. I don't know how often you tune in, but if you're watching this, know that I'm still sending it out. I have just been, in a darker place, and leaving my house has been really hard. We've gone on a couple trips and I've just been so exhausted after those, and so it's just matter of working through my mental. So going to the post office and dropping packages off has been very difficult, and I'm still going to do it, but I haven't yet. And so as the filming of this video, hopefully it's on my list of to-dos, and I'm finding that my to-do list broken down has been really helping. And I love to share, so I want to make sure that I do that. But this one, I don't know if it's my favorite. I do think it's a lovely ink. I think I got mine. I'm pretty sure I got mine straight from Kobe's website, but I'm pretty positive Venice has talked about restocking it. So hopefully they will have samples of it again. It sold out, she said, in like the first day. And so I think she's trying to get more. So don't fear, it will come back. And I know that Kobe has restocked it a couple times too, because it's gone out of stock at their website too. So it is obviously a loved color. But I am such a bold, bright pink fan. So I feel like this one is just kind of one of those muted pinks that everybody loves more. It reminds me of like Bouquet d'Antan by J. Herbin, only mixed with a little bit of brown, which makes sense since it's strawberry chocolate. But yeah, it is a lovely ink. So I don't want to say that I don't love it, because I do love. Okay, so I can say I'm not sure that I love it, but I do really like it. So there's that. So yeah. But I also think that I like it, but somebody else might love it. So I am more than willing to pass them on, which is why I'm going to pass them on to Allison. Allison and Leanne have been doing the Artist's Way, and it motivated me to do the Artist's Way. And really, honestly, I'm almost to week 8. I have skipped a lot of the tasks just for my mental health, but wow, is it really opening up a lot of things that I didn't realize, and I feel like it's changed me in some good ways. Yeah, I really struggled with a couple chapters just because it's my own personal past trauma and demons, because I am very hesitant about religious things. So a lot of the language in some of the chapters really bothered me, but I pushed through and I said, no, you're going to commit. You're going to move past this. This is not, the end all be all. She's not the person that tells you exactly how life is going to be good for you. Just remember that, because I've fallen trapped for that before. And it's been good because I moved past that. And yeah, I am very happy with just some of the routines that she's talks about. I think it comes down to routine and really digging deep in yourself and understanding why you do the things you do. I think that definitely helps. So that's a lot of it too. And this is, yeah, this is a lovely, lovely pink ink. That's for sure. Maybe I just haven't used it enough or didn't use it in the right pen. If anybody's used this ink and has used it in a pen and loved it, what pen did you use? What size nib? Like, is this one that you use in extra fine and it works just gloriously? I don't know. I did use J. Herbin's the Bouquet d'Antan a couple months ago, and I had hated it before. And I bought the 10 milliliter like sample bottle. And I did like that. This ink seems dry in this stub, or I didn't have enough in the feed. I don't know. But it does seem dry. Drier than my Robert Oster ones. Yeah. Which makes this harder to color in. I've been enjoying coloring in with stub nibs lately. So just has bigger strokes and yeah. My pen does not want to give me the right angle. There we go. There. I think the Australis Rose right now is the most successful bunny in calligraphy. Yeah, I'd say. So there's Australis Rose next to Strawberry Chocolate. Those are actually a lot closer in color than I realized. I mean, yes, Australis Rose is more red, but they both have kind of a brownish halo, which makes them, and then the color, their lighter color is really similar. Huh. Who would have thought? I feel like strawberry chocolate is right in between cherry blossom and Australis rose for color. This is more purple leaning and this is more red leaning. Oh my goodness, I'm here. There we go. This is more purple leaning. This is more red leaning, but they're kind of in that same color family, which is fun. And I like them all. I do like them all. I do think I need to put this in a pen again and see if I really like it or if it's just, hype. But I did want to get, I liked the pink enough, and I liked the milk chocolate a little bit more, but that's kind of where I'm at with that. And this one is dry. Look at that shading. I just love that shading in Cherry Blossom. Ugh, Esther Cherry Blossom, you have my heart. Okay, so let those two dry, and I will grab the next ink. Okay, so because I do need to document it, and I was curious, I did grab Bouquet Danton by J. Herbin, since it is a bottle. It's a small bottle, which feels like, but it is double the size of a normal sample. I love these little bottles that J. Herbin does. I wish more companies would do it. Like Ferris Wheel Press is starting to do it. And it's really nice because I can decide, okay, do I like this ink enough to buy a whole bottle, or is this 110 milliliter good enough? It's how I did Herbin's Coco de Brazil and Amber de Bermani. And I ended up loving both of those, and I ended up buying full bottles of those. I'm still not sure about this one, and I definitely think Azure Blue is one I'm going to buy. No, this is different. I don't know. I think it's the undertone of it, but it's so light. This color is light. So, yeah, it's not as similar as I thought. The only thing with these little bottles is it's hard to dip my brass nib in. So let's see if we got enough ink on this brass nib to even do anything. Nope. Okay, this is what I'm doing right now. It's very scary, right? Oh, there we go. Sometimes I think I don't get enough ink on this thing to make it work. I have been saying for months and months on my channel that I needed to do pink inks and swatching them. So here they are finally. I don't know what I'm going to do next. If I'm going to do one next. But pink is definitely the ink I have the most of because pink and purple are my two favorite colors. I'm sure I've said that quite a few times. And I really love the purple leaning pinks, like the rosy colors. They're my favorite. And I think I just found a new one that I like. The Pelican 4001 pink has quickly become a new favorite, and I literally just got it. And it was on a whim because it was an $8 ink, $8 on Amazon. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. And I really like it. So, yeah. By the time that I am done with this, I'm going to be able to recite this line so well. this book is, I don't know. I don't love giving anything away because it is out there. I mean, there are some kind of dark and gory things, but it's so ridiculous. It is such a ridiculous book. And it's hard to explain, for one, because it's, you read this book and you're thinking, what did I just read? But then you can't stop thinking about it. And then you're obsessed with it because it's so utterly ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know. Mona Awad had something going with this here, and I am very happy that I was able to read it a long time ago, and I still think about it, and I still love it, and I want to read it again because it's so ridiculous. And this bunny is going to look not very great because I had an ink drop, but yeah. I don't know. It's one of those books that I read. Gosh, when did I read it? Because I don't know when it came out, but I read it shortly after it came out. Um, I've always been a big fan of horror that is very social commentary, and I feel like this book was definitely social commentary that mocked a lot of things like academia, because it's considered a dark academia novel. And yeah, I don't know, but it does involve an English department, and I think that too really appealed to me because the way that these people act is how English majors really act, or at least they did at my school. I can neither confirm nor deny that I ever had these kind of conversations in my writing classes. I I I, I never ever was this kind of person. Neither confirm nor deny. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, okay. So this was a color. This Bouquet d'Antan is a color that, quite personally, when I first got it, I was really disappointed with it because I didn't completely love it. But then I put it in a pen 1 month because I just really wanted to try it. And I actually really do love it. And as it has dried down, it is really darn close to Kobe's strawberry chocolate, which is nuts to me. I never realized how close they are. This one is less dark pigment. This one is this one. So this one leans a little bit more purple, where this one leans a little bit more brown. Kobe strawberry chocolate leans a little bit more purple, or a little more brown, and this one leans a little bit more purple. But in writing, they're very, very similar. That's nuts. And they're different too. Yeah. Yeah, definitely different, because you can see that, and you can see that in the swatches up here. But I do appreciate people talking about how different inks can look in a swatch compared to actual writing, which is why I kind of want to have it all, because there's sometimes where I do want an ink for a swatch, or for that specific swatch versus a color. So things to think about. All right, the next one I grabbed is Sailor Shikiori Hana Khan Marie. I think I just grabbed these ones because they're close, or not closer, but they're, closer to the top of my drawer unit because they're newer. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I want to organize my inks going forward after I get them all categorized and documented and everything. This one is definitely more of a brownie, rusty coral, but I don't know. Sometimes I think, is coral more pink or coral more orange? And I think you can debate that it's either, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I do like this color though. It's very similar to Rui Dankra by J. Herbin and Teranishi's Opera Rose, but they all have their own type of qualities, I think. This is a recent color. I think this one just came out a couple months ago. And yeah, I got it with all of the new ones because I really wanted to try them all. And they were really hard to get. And Venus doesn't carry samples of these of Sailor. I don't think they carry Sailor inks at all. But yeah, it's Hana KonMari. How is it? Hana has the dash here. I know this is supposed to be spring flowers or something like that. It's been a while since I've looked at my ink exploration, but I did an ink exploration on all these new Sailor Shikiori inks because they are so cool. I love them. I have had them all in pens, every single one. I think that Yuki Usagi and the Surubame, which is the brown, those are my two favorites, definitely. But I do love this one as well. This one, yeah. And I think the more I've used this one, I prefer this one to Rui Dankra and to Teranishi's Opera Rose. I don't know why, but yeah. And that changes from day to day. I feel like also it might depend on my project or what my mood is, what I'm going for theme for the month, what my ephemera is. A lot of that factors into why at that moment the ink works for me and why it doesn't. Because I do spend a lot of time staring at the colors, getting them kind of organized, and then which one really works with this watercolor, which one really works with this Tombow, and which one matches this. Is this the right color that I'm really thinking about? I am, yeah, and I know other people are too. But I am very sensitive to color variations, and I know that not everybody is, and I know that it doesn't matter to a lot of people, but it does to me. It just color is color is life, and I feel like color. I don't know. Color is one of those things too. Um, Gosh, who was I talking to? It was one of you lovely people are on my videos. They were talking about, if I remember, when everybody was getting their seasons done for outfits and like, what season are you? And I never bought into that because I never wanted to pigeonhole myself and have somebody tell me based on this and this and this that that's my color for outfits because I'm going to wear what I want. Because in none of those where they're draping the colors over over their bodies was there a neon pink. None of them. Where was the neon purples? Where were the neons? Because that's what I want to wear. And so I don't know. I probably should care more about what looks good on me, but I think if I'm confident in it, that's what matters. I like to wear lots of colors. Gosh, I think a lot of people have said to me before, you look like a rainbow has thrown up on you. That's exactly the way I want to look. The bunnies all look so different. Some of them look a little derpier than others, like Bouquet d'Antons looks very derpy. That's okay. All right. This is fun. Okay. Now it's fun to see this We've got a purplish pink, a more reddish, and a more orangish or brownish orange coral. Love all the different variants of pink. All right. Now, some would argue that this is a brown and not a pink, but I think that Kobe's milk chocolate is very much so in the same vein as Hanaka Marie and Rui Dankra and um, Tasha Ume Murasaki, which I think a lot of people would categorize as like a dusty pink or like a brown pink. It is definitely more brown leaning, but it does have this deep undertone of pink. It is, I will say it's a brownish. It's brownish pink to me. It might be more brown. We'll see. But it's always leaned on other papers. It's always leaned very pink or very similar to Terre de Faux, which is a brown. I guess Terre de Faux is a brown too. But I think it's got pinky undertones. So that's just me. So I am going to put it in with my pinks. I'm going to move that so I don't spill. I love the Kobe bottles. They are so great. Kobe. Maybe it's that pinky undertone that gives it the idea that it's milk chocolate instead of bitter chocolate because it's sweeter. I don't know. I'd love to know how they decided to develop these colors and what made them decide this color for this. I don't know. Mm-hmm. This becomes so meditative that eventually I just kind of get into a rhythm and routine and then just do this. I can do this for hours. That's how I got through the first 2 seasons, like swatching, not this particular swatch, but I got through the first 2 seasons of White Lotus by just sitting and doing this multiple nights. That show is weird. I have not watched the 3rd season. I needed a mental break because I was like, why am I still watching this show? I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. I don't know. It was weird. I definitely thought the first season was really stupid. Just my opinion. I was kind of bored, but my mom said, "Oh, it gets so much better," and I was waiting. Um, so I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but in the first 5 minutes of the first episode, so it's not really giving it away because it sets it up that way. You find out that somebody died, and so the whole time I knew somebody died, but you go back in time to figure it out. And I knew it wasn't one person because the person was there in the first part. But then it's like, okay, well, who is it? And I so called it the whole time. And I wish that things would shock me because I called it. I called it. If you've watched White Lotus and you watched the first season, did you call that too? Because that was so obvious from the get go. Okay, these are really, really similar. Look at Hanukkah and Marie to milk chocolate. See, that's why I think that this is a pinky. It might be a pinky brown, but it's still pink to me. But I will totally take your arguments that it's a brown. If you want to say that Kobe milk chocolate, because milk chocolate, chocolate's in the name. So it also is in the strawberry. But if you want to say that, no, I'm sorry, Mandy, I disagree. It needs to be in brown. I would not hesitate to say, yeah, in your collection, absolutely. I see that. In my collection, I'm going to put it under the pinks just because that's where I'd want to find it. I just, yeah. But I definitely see the argument can be made for both. And what does not shock me, what's interesting, by the way, it does not shock me that these colors are really similar since Kobe ink is actually made by Sailor. So, um, Sailor inks being similar to Kobe inks never shocks me or surprises me. So, there's that. And I need to write bunny. And this is how you get good at lettering because you practice it over and over and over. Hopefully my bunnies will get better. I don't know. They all look so different. That's what's so fun is they all look so different, but they're the same, basic shapes. I do like him. See, I think that there could be an argument, especially because you've got so many ones that are really similar, that this is when you see that pink undertone, but it is definitely more brown. But then next to Hanakan Mori, it is very similar in writing, which I think you could get away with if you really like Kobe milk chocolate. I think you could get away with using Hanakan Mori and almost have a similar experience. There is a bit more brown in this one, and you can see it up in here. But this one does have very similar writing. If you're not using it for art and just using it for writing, you could go Hanakan Mori, which again doesn't shock me, especially because milk chocolate came out and then this one came out a few months later. I imagine that Sailor was like, oh, maybe we should, make one similar. But there is strawberry chocolate. Strawberry chocolate is a very, very lovely ink. It is fully dry. And we'll look at it against other colors later. But there it is. I do like that. It is a brown black halo. It is a nice ink. I definitely wonder why I haven't put it in a pen or didn't like it. I think what it comes down to is I'm being more intentional about using inks and inking less pens, and that is helping. So I actually use the pens, and I think that is an important part too. So there's that. This is going to take forever, just forever and a day, because I have so many inks. So this is Sailor Ink Studio 237, and this is why I understand why other creators will do this and like edit out a lot of it. And I am really lazy when it comes to editing because I'm not very good at it. But Sailor Ink Studio 237 is one of my favorite pinks. I don't know if it's in the top, but it is, it's hard because I really do love this ink. I've written a few pens dry with this one. This one is a lovely, lovely pink. And yeah, it's definitely a favorite. It's hard to decide though, top wise, which one. Ooh, shoot. Grabbed the wrong nib for this. I just love the Sailor Ink Studio inks. There's so many cool ones. Ooh. Okay, Sailor Ink Studio. I also find it really interesting that Sailor breaks down their inks into different categories like Shikiori and Euromeku and Studio. And I know that the numbers mean something too. Like this is 237. Is there a 137? I don't know. But I know it has something to do with the tones that are in it. I'd have to look it up though, because I really have no idea. But I know that there is something to it, and people have talked about it before. I just don't know what it is. So there's that. I literally had my pens in order of what I do with them, but I'm really going to be happy when I have these done. So I can look at them and say, oh, yeah, I like that color. And here's why I like that color more than the other ones. If that makes sense. And why did I need a bottle of this one? Oh, that's why. And interesting enough, as I'm doing this on the Tomoe River paper, and this is the Tomoe cream. And so it's not the stark white, because I really like cream colors. I think because Tomoe River, and this is from 2023, so it is Sanzen. It's not the original Tomoe River, but it's not the Bad Batch that everybody had. I think you see more of that shading quality in this paper than you would in other things, because I know I use a lot of Leuchtturm, and I think a lot of those really cool qualities don't show up, but the color does. And the color of the inks do show up quite a bit on that, and on the Leuchtturm, very much so. By like, what would you say? Very true to the swatch, or just true to the color that you expect it to be. And it really shows out the main color. There we go. That's the thing, the main color. So where you have that base is what's going to pop up the most. So in this one, the base is that pink right there. That rosy pink is what shows up the most on Leuchtturm. And this one, that pink shows up because it is a pinky, like orangey pink, dark right there. That's what shows up. So I think that is a lot of why I notice those nuances so much more than I think others would. And I use medium nibs, and I think that makes a difference too. I use medium and broad nibs most of the time. So I think I do notice, because you notice more of the ink properties when you're using a larger nib. And so that stuff all goes into the factoring whether or not you're going to see all these things in an ink. And I just have a love of color, and I am very much so the more pigmented, bright, and vibrant colors oftentimes are the ones that I gravitate towards. And I can't explain it, but I always have gravitated towards like the Lisa Frank colors is the best way that I can describe it. The Lisa Frank colors, or the 80s neons. I am really hesitant to buy more Esterbrook's right now, just with my feelings on the niblet. I'm so glad that I didn't spend my own money and I used credit, but I'm still like, ugh, if that makes sense. But with that, I am hesitant, but they just came out with their Funky Town, or I don't know if they've released it yet, but they showed the launch first at revealed it. That's the word I'm looking for. They revealed it at the DC Pen Show, and that fluorescent neon pink is calling my name, but I don't need it, and I don't want it, but I do. But you can already see of these how much more bright and bold this color is. And that's why I love 237. But it still has that really beautiful rim of brown. I do love 237. And yeah, my bottle is fading. Is fading. If you are still here at this mark, I'm pretty sure this is around the hour mark. Why don't you answer me the question, what is your favorite movie? Tell me your favorite movie, because I appreciate you and I want to hear. Also, maybe I'll find a new movie that I like. But yeah, let's see what else I got here. I'm trying to see how much more I have. I think I have a few more papers. So if you're sticking around, man, you're awesome. And that's okay, you know? And if you're jumping from ink to ink, more power to you. I've done it in videos too. You can get sick of my rambling, I'm sure. The next one is Rui Dakra. I hope you're noticing a theme that I've got like my brownish tinted, dusty, pinky, more so than any of them. Because that's what I pulled out. I pulled out what I think would be most dusty. Even Bouquet d'Antan has kind of a brownish undertone. So that's kind of what I went for when I was looking for my pinks today. And so I will put them in, I will organize them back into that pinky, dusty pink category when I put them away. But I thought that doing them by that might be good. This one has brown undertones, but it's I think it's the brightest one of the inks I have. Maybe Cherry Blossom too, but I tried to stick to the more reddish leaning brown inks. Yeah. This one is one that I picked up after I watched a couple videos of Karina Loves to Plan before I had switched my content from just art and books to talking about fountain pens more, because I got more into the hobby. And this was one of the first bottles I bought, just getting into the dusty pinks because I wanted to try them. I'd seen this one on hers and a couple other people's videos, and I thought, oh, that would be fun. It is very dry. As you can see, I am really struggling even with my Kakamori. Let's get that really dipped. But it works very well in my Banu pens and my very wet pens, as long as I have the right nib size, like medium. It works really great. I've had issues with it in some pens. And you can see, like my Kakamori brass nib. It is very dry, but there is plenty of ink on there. Yeah, there we go. My first issues with, there we go, for a second. Yeah, well. Come on, Kakamori. I was getting kind of, what is the word I'm looking for? I was getting kind of overconfident about this ink or this nib, because I thought, oh yeah, I've got this down. I've got the angle down. No, you don't. I'm done with it. Okay, there, that's it. I'm not even going to do the other line with that because that's really making me mad. So that is the thing where this ink makes me mad. It's a lovely ink, but it is so dry that I had to really dip this, and it's full. So just FYI. yeah, I don't know. This one, yeah, I do like it. That's the hard part is I really like it, but I think I'm just mad at my Kakamori brass nib. Let's be real. Okay. I like this one. And it works really well in my Hokoro, and it works well in some of my pen. And the pens that I have found, it does work. Now I'm really nervous about it with this, but I do want to get the bunny drawn because I feel like it's really important for me, especially to see all the different ways that I use my pens to see how it looks. Because I think that's something that's really important for my swatches is to see, oh yeah, this is how it looks doodled. This is how it looks this. And I'm sure I've said this already in this video because it is long, but that again, it's one of those things where I encourage you, because this is what I have done. I encourage you to play with your inks in so many different ways, because you might find that you like them in one way, but you don't in another. And yeah, just angry at this Hokoro stub too, because I'm angry at this ink because it is dry, but there we go. It's also, I'm not very good with figuring out the angle and how to have my hand exactly right. Yes. What did you do this summer, Mrs. Cool? I played with my ink all summer. Maybe next summer I'll do something else. Yeah. As you can see, this ink is very dry. Very dry. It angers me. It angers me. I don't know what that was. Sometimes I make really, really weird voices and don't even realize it. And apparently that's called stimming. And I didn't know that until, I got older. Okay. I've only got 3 more papers. So I'm really trying to be like, which ones do I want to do for sure? And I'm going to do Teranishi Opera Rose because I think it looks really similar to Ruri Dankra. Only Ruri Dankra has a brown undertone, where Opera Rose has more of a purple undertone. And I think this ink behaves a whole lot better. We're going to find out, though. I could be very wrong. I could be very, very wrong. So I do love how this looks, though. I kind of want to make up a bunch of these. Or how fun would it be if I made up a bunch of these, like made my own kind of stamp art there, and then used, I have an idea. And then I used like different inks, and then I made stickers out of them, and then I could put them on the back of letters for mail, or I could throw it up on my KOFI shop. Oh, that would be cool. So you could use them maybe someday. I haven't finished stickers in a while. I think I talked about it in one of my I did a vlog, and I'm pretty sure I talked about it in there. And I'm hoping that I can get more stickers up because I know people like them. But I have not had the wherewithal for myself to make my own stickers for my stuff. And that's really what I was doing it for, and then just kind of throwing it up if you wanted it too. So yeah, I've been focusing on doing more studying and working on comics and working to get my praxis done, like studying for my praxis. I'm going to say that for about 6 months because studying is really hard for people with ADHD. Or at least it is for me. I don't, maybe you can super hyperfixate on it, but I cannot. Oh, see, you can already see how much easier this one Right. And it is different. It is very much so more orange leaning. It is darker, more vivid, orangier. But it is a lovely color. And I know that people love this color. So there's a reason. It's not my favorite Teranishi color though. My two favorite Teranishis are Innocent Mauve and Traveling Sepia. Fun fact. That's so interesting. Like, because I said it's more purple leaning, and you can see where it's drying up in here. You can see all the different colors that Teranishi used to make this color. And that is just one of the reasons I love their inks so much. They use so much color that it gives it such interesting depth. That's the best word I can come up with for it. And they're just well-behaved inks. Like, if you can see how much this is going down, it's working so well. But if you don't like the rusty brown colors, I would, and you're really into purples, I would highly recommend Innocent Mauve. That is probably one of my top colors. And since I bought the bottle, it's very rarely not in a pen. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I want to ink it up in a pen. Like, because I haven't had it in a pen for a little while. Oh, I forgot to put Bunny by Mona Wad. That's why it looked funny. Okay. I will get that on there. I really wonder what this would look like in a broad nib. That would be kind of fun to try. Can't remember if I've tried it or not. It's always hard to remember because I'm always trying inks. But there, that one is. And it's really fun. I love this because it's really fun to put it right next to what people compare it to. But look at how different they are. I mean, they aren't and they are. This in writing is definitely more brown leaning, where this is more pinky, peachy. But then when you look at the colors up here, wow, it just is crazy. But again, people are very much so right when you're using, because this is a sailor medium. When you're using that smaller nib, the difference in writing isn't that much, but it is if you are sensitive, like super sensitive to color. So I would like to, after these last two, I would like to let these dry because they're not all dry. Let these dry and then compare them so you can kind of see. And maybe you'll say, oh yeah, I like that one definitely more. So, all right, another brown pink. This one of the two Herbins is my favorite of the two. This is Terre de Feu or Faux. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I think it was Feu, but it has been a hot minute since I've taken a French class. So like more than a hot minute, like a hot lifetime. Is that a thing? Uh, my kids are saying all the brain rot words that drives me crazy. Apparently, the new thing is Italian brain rot. And so they've been saying things like cappuccini. And I feel like I'm so, because I haven't, been teaching all summer. I feel like I'm so out of touch because not only haven't I been teaching, but I haven't been on like TikTok. So I have no idea what the cool kids are saying these days. I'm sure I'm about to find out, but it's always fun to learn those words as a teacher. It's fun to learn all the ridiculous like brain rot slang and then use it purposely wrong because it drives the students nuts because they're like, wait, you know what you're supposed to be saying. But aren't I supposed to be saying I'm an Ohio skibbity rizzlord? And then they're like, no, Mrs. Cool, that's not right. But I have way too much fun messing around with students. Yeah. I like to have a little fun after I've laid down the law. I'm pretty strict, literally strict. I understand that we have things going on in our brains, but also we need to do what's supposed to, what is required of us. So I have high expectations, but I also like to have fun and like to reward. I do high rewards too. We work hard, we play hard. That's kind of my, oh, this is not Rui Donkra. This is, see now this one, I think I wonder if I like this one because one, it's browner. Like this one is almost not a pink. This one I definitely would classify more as a pink brown or, brownish brown with pink undertones. But I just love this ink. So why not? Why not ink or why not swatch it in this? But I also think that it's really close to a lot of these colors too. I'm not even looking at my other papers now to write this. Suppose I've written it 10 times now. Yeah, this one is definitely more brown, but that's okay. I think showing it is good, but I do love this for a brown, for a brownish pink. This one, this one is one of my favorites. That's for sure. I definitely, and this is one of my more favorite Herbin inks. I think this one and Blue Azure are my two second favorites. Like, I can't decide which one I like more. And then I love, 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 love Coco de Brazil. And I do love Armani, uh, Amber di Armani or Bermani. I do love that one. Yeah. They are. They are lovely. Lovely inks. Yeah, but this is definitely browner. I think I see the brown. I see where I would 100% say, yeah, no, this is a brown. Still probably going to put it in my pinks just because it is a pinky brown. Like this KWZ brown pink to me is more purple, where this I think is definitely more brown pink. So I feel like this one should have been closer to the color that KWZ should have called brown pink. And maybe I don't know what terre de feu is in French. I should look it up and tell you before I finish this video. And I'm definitely not going to do that on camera because this video is already a million years long. You're probably like, thank you, Mandy. Thank you. Thank you. And again, you are the real MVPs if you are here and you have been here the whole time. So, and if you would like me to know that you're a real MVP and that you've been here the whole time, tell me your favorite flavor of ice cream. Can you guess mine? I'm going to tell you here in a second. My favorite flavor of ice cream is, have you guessed it? I'll give you one more second. Have you guessed it? Okay. If you want to put it down in the comments, go ahead. Timestamp it. My favorite flavor of ice cream is vanilla. Isn't that funny? Or sweet cream. Yeah, of all the flavors of ice cream, give me vanilla, which is really funny because I am, bright and bold and colorful, and then I just want vanilla ice cream. Yeah. I am a wild conundrum. Okay, so I also wanted to show this as this is dried down. Look at how much shading is in this ink. And I hope that the camera is picking it up because it shades into this beautiful, lovely, dark pink. And then it's got that rusty orange. And then it's got this peachy yellow. It is a stunner. I do love Opera Rose for that reason because it is so dynamic. And I think when you look at it comparatively in writing, these three are actually really similar. Like this one's a little bit browner. This one's a little bit more orange. And this one, the Kobe milk chocolate, is just a little bit paler. But isn't that interesting how similar inks can be? Yeah. Opera Rose is just a little bit brighter and oranger than Kobe's milk chocolate. And I would argue, in my personal opinion, I like this one better. I like the Teranishi better. But yeah, I also think that if you have Teranishi Opera Rose, you don't need Kobe milk chocolate, but I could see why you love them. And even Hanakan Murray goes right in here. And that's why I did this. Like even these two are so similar. But I think I prefer Hanakan Murray over Rui Dankra. For one, it behaves better and works better in a pen. But that's just kind of fun there. All right. Last ink of the day. I hope you made it this far. This is Sailor Ink Studio 273. Again, not fully pink, but it's a brown with undertones of pink. So I think I might say this one's a brownish pink, but except that, I don't know. Anyway, I guess Australis Rose is a brownish pink too. I would argue. This is definitely dusty pinks. Dusty. Dirty pinks. Maybe I'll call them dirty pinks. That would be fun. What describes a dirty pink? Well, you add dirt. Get it? Okay. My husband makes all these really ridiculous punny jokes, and he's like, you love it. And, probably secretly I do, because my dad used to make this silly little punny jokes, and it would drive me crazy because, dads drive their daughters crazy. But, and I guess they say that you marry your parent, but my husband is nothing like my dad, except for the jokes. And when I make them, I find myself way too amused because it makes me think of my husband. Yeah. So, funny enough, this is another Sailor Ink Studio 173. I think I have 3 or 4 Sailor Inks in this. And technically, if you want to count the Kobe's, so then it's like 2 more because Kobe is made by Sailor. I count them. I mean, they're proprietary to Kobe, the colors are, but you cannot tell me. This is $273. Whereas $173 of Sailor Ink Studios is bright orange, and I love it too. But this one is an interesting, I think it's pink, just as I think a lot of these other ones are pink. I also think that Wearing Gold White Rabbit is pink. That one will be in the next video because I have it sitting here. But alas, I can only do so many at once. And I'm getting tired. I don't know about you, but I am getting tired of doing this and I need a break. So and I don't remember when I got this ink because I haven't used it all that often, but I do like it. First time I read Bunny, I listened to it on audio along with reading it. And the narrator, whose name is Brittany Presley, did such a good job. So I always hear her and I love listening to her audiobooks. I don't know if you are audiobook listeners, but if you are and you've made it this far, do you have a favorite narrator, audiobook narrator? I have a couple. Brittany Presley, I really like. I really like Xe Sands. Oh, she did a book that I love so much that I found out actually my old professor that I adore from college, one of her really good friends wrote, and that is oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name? It's a book that I absolutely love, and I can see the cover, and it's a dark academia gothic novel. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name of this really, it's really big book. I got to pause. Okay, I got it. Plain Bad Heroines. Why I couldn't think of that name for the life of me? I couldn't, but Xe Sands narrates that one. And oh gosh, this book is so good. I am a sucker for Gothic novels, and that one just ticked all the boxes for me. And Xe Sands, her voice is, I can't explain it if you haven't listened to her, but she's got such a soothing voice. And she also sounds kind of like she's annoyed at the whole world. It's my opinion. I love her. Gosh, who else do I love? I get really excited when I see them. I don't know. Those two definitely. And then there's one other one, and I can't think of her name. And I think if I saw it, I would know. But every time I read a book with her narration, she just does children especially so well. Goodness, what is her name? I'm going to remember it the moment I leave this video. But yeah, and there are some narrators that I can't stand or that I don't really like. And I wouldn't say can't stand. I don't really love she is so loved and I don't love her, and her name is Julia Whalen. I do not love books by her. If she's narrating it, I can tolerate her at least. I will listen, but I don't love her. And she does a lot of the contemporary romance books. And so it's always like, I guess I'm not listening to that one. I'm not really big into romance books anyway. give me a book where something creepy is happening and I'm happy. Or fantasy. I've gotten into fantasy in the last couple of years. I used to hate fantasy and now I quite like it. Quite like it. All right, I am going to pause this, let everything dry, and then I will come back and do comparisons in an outro. So I know this video got long, so thank you for sticking around, and you'll get the really big comparison payoff if you have stuck around this long. So I hope that you have enjoyed this, at least if you have been here. All right, I'll be back. Oh boy, I think this is my longest video yet, and I think in the future videos of this, I'm going to do less. I don't know how many I did here, but I think I'm going to do 6 in each video. And that will make it a little bit more appetizing. I don't know. Let me know if you've watched this whole video. Do you like these really long videos, or would you rather I do a shorter one or something? I don't know. I have a hard time because I just basically do what I would be doing off camera and I do it on camera because I do this stuff a lot. This right here is a stack of ones I've done with MD paper. They're different because I was just using a paintbrush and they are different colors and everything. It's really interesting too. This is just, I want to show you quick. This is Terre de Feu on this paper. And I think that's why it reads so pink to me, is because on this paper, and I don't have any writing on it, like besides using the paintbrush. I've been practicing my lettering with paintbrushes. This looks a lot pinker unless you're looking here. So I don't know. It's an interesting ink. I really like this one. I definitely think I want to for sure ink this one up. It is not fully dry, but I for sure want to ink this one up soon. Again, I haven't had it inked up or just do some art with it because it is so fun. I don't know. I love all the different colors you get in it. So that one, I don't think it's really similar to any of them, but in writing, it definitely leans brownish pink. So that's why I put it in my pinks, but you really can argue for both. I definitely think, especially with this one. So now I want to compare the rest of them. And then I'll let you go on your merry way. And if you skip to this part, go you. I've done it before too. Okay, so this is Sailor Ink Studio 173, 273, not 173, sorry. This one is definitely a pink with brown haloing, if I can get it to show. It is lovely. It has, in the brown, it does have different colors too, if you can see that. I don't know if it's going to pick up on the camera, but in the color, and really up here you can see it too, it does greenish yellow and brown, and there's even some hints of blue down in here. So especially right there in the ear, it's hints of blue. So this one is very dynamic. I do think that of the colors, it is the closest, I think, of my inks to Kobe Milk Chocolate. When you look at that writing, especially if you look at that writing, that's almost the same color. Now, in the swatches, they're a little bit different. This one's got a little bit more orange. I mean, I wouldn't say that those are the same colors in the swatches. Even in this right here, they're different, but not that much. But in the writing, they're very similar. So if you can't get your hands on Kobe Milk Chocolate, Sailor Ink Studio 273 is a little bit easier to get a hold of because ink studios are usually even able to get them on Amazon. But that's a really good dupe. But so is Hana Murray. Hana Murray, another Sailor ink, in writing looks very similar. And there's differences, but it looks very similar. Same with Rui Dankra by J.R. Bond. This one I'm going to argue is a little bit brighter and pinker than Milk Chocolate, but it's fun to see these things. Teranishi Opera Rose is similar, but also what I love about Opera Rose is that you do get all of those different colors in there, which is fun because you can look at, where is it? You almost get cherry blossom mixed with one of these, like cherry blossom mixed with Ruby Dankra to get Opera Rose, which is cool. This is the kind of stuff that I am so fascinated by with inks. I do think that Opera Rose looks very similar, and I didn't get it inked up here, but I do have it here. Let me find it. I'm going to pause this and I'll find it. It's very similar to Kobe 54 Goshiyama Ochre. It is a little bit different, but in writing, and this one doesn't have writing. This one, in writing, they're very, very similar. I like them for different reasons. This one has a little bit more peachy weird in there, but I do like that. Also, MD paper, it's going to look different. So I have this one in my pile, and this one will get swatched in one of my next videos. So then we can compare those. But I also wanted to show Strawberry Chocolate and how different those look, because this is MD paper and this is Tomoe River paper. Look at how different. And I think that's why I don't love it, because it looks really nice. To me, it looks really nice on Tomoe River paper, but I don't use Tomoe River paper that much. I use MD paper, and I think it leans far more brown on MD, and I don't like that. This is more pink. Because I wouldn't say that this looks, when you put this next to Bouquet d'Antan, I don't think those look alike at all. They don't, to me. Maybe a little bit, but not the way that they look pretty similar right here. In the writing, right here. They look really similar, but I don't think that they look that similar. And Cherry Blossom is another that looks, that you could put right next to Strawberry Chocolate and it wouldn't be that different. It's a little bit more purple and it is a little bit darker. But again, if you are looking for a good, a good almost color, this one's too purple, way too vivid for the Strawberry Chocolate. But even Australis Rose, it's a little bit more red leaning. You can see that in the bunnies, but in the writing, it's pretty similar. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe when I put it in the sun, no, they're not. But I think when you put those together, you just get a little bit more. There's like a brownish black halo more so than on Strawberry Chocolate. So yeah, this is Sailor Ink Studio 237. I love this one. It is definitely on Tomoe River paper. It definitely leans very rosy purple, which purple rose, like pink with that purple undertone, is my absolute favorite. That's why I love Cherry Blossom so much, is they are in the same, I think they're almost in the same color family. And then you have Australis Rose, which is more red and less purple, but it still has purple shading. I think in the halo, it goes purpley brown. And then we've got Bouquet d'Antan. This one is, I just think this one's just a standard pink with a little bit of brown. There's not a whole lot going on with this one. It shades a little bit, but I think that's your standard baby ballet pink. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's not always my favorite, because it is so standard. It doesn't have a lot of shading. It just is. And where even Strawberry Chocolate has more shading. And so then when we're looking at these are all really, really similar. Ruby Dankra, Hanakan Murray, Milk Chocolate, Sailor Ink Studio 273, and Teranishi Opera Rose. Those are all really similar to me. Very, very similar. Very much so. There's subtle differences. And the more I'm getting into it, do I love this color family? Because this is a lot of the same color. And am I using it? That's what I'm trying to decide. Am I using it? Do I love it? And There are ones that I don't love as much. I don't think I would get, if I used up this bottle, I don't think I'd get another bottle of Rui d'Ancre. That's for sure. Rui d'Ancre is probably, of these 5, my least favorite. And I think that's because this one is the most peachy toned. It's very peach, where the rest of these, this one has purple undertones, which is why I love it so much. This has purple undertones, but it's still that brownish, rusty, pinky brown. And these 3, so we get rid of these, okay? Because this one is super different. I think this one is the most different out of all of them. And it might be closer to Australis Rose. This one again, I just, for a lot of reasons, Rui d'Ancre drives me nuts, especially because of how dry it is, which leads me to these, which does not shock me since they are all made by Sailor, that they are that similar. I think of them, I think that Milk Chocolate is the most similar to the 2 of them, but I don't think 273, if you put 273 and Hana KonMari next to each other, yes, they look similar, but this one is definitely more orange and leans closer to the Rui d'Ancre than this. This one has more of that. Well, you can look right here. You can see it in the swatches. It's more pink undertoned, where this one is also more pink undertoned with a little bit of that. So I feel like I almost feel like they took a little bit of this pink and mixed it into Hana KonMari for Milk Chocolate. That's just kind of what I'm seeing. But these are all, I don't think you would need all of these inks. I think you could pick one and get by with it, especially if you're not using it for art. Now, if you're using it for art, which is something that I do, when you use it for painting, they're very different. This in a painting would be very different, which is why I think I look at these in such a different way than I think some people, because if I was just using my inks for writing and I wasn't drawing and I wasn't painting and I wasn't doing all of those things, just one of these in this color family would be just fine. I think you could you would love it. Of these, which ones have I put in a pen? I put this one in a pen, and I've put this one in a pen. This one was in one of my gin house for about a month or 2, and I did enjoy it. It worked really well. They're both very well behaved inks. They all have the normal Sailor smell because they are Sailor inks. But I think you could just pick one, whichever one you would probably access and is the cheapest. This one's definitely going to be the most expensive and the hardest to get. So there's a couple good dupes if you like Kobe Milk Chocolate. And yeah, that's about it. With Strawberry Chocolate, I think it's a little bit harder. Bouquet d'Antan is pretty close. Let's see. I think Cherry Blossom, and I did already do this, but I just kind of want to show you again. I think I do think that Strawberry Chocolate, I probably have an ink that's a little bit better that I haven't swatched up yet. So let's stay tuned and keep that on the back of our minds, because I don't think we found the Strawberry Chocolate yet. So it's going to be really fun to have these all together. And I almost wonder, I have this, so this is a lot of loose leaf. I almost wonder if I make myself a little notebook out of this cream Tomoe River paper, because I'm really liking this cream. Why hadn't I tried it before? Anyway, that's that. Thank you so much for being here today. This was a really long video. I would really love feedback, because this is definitely a longer one where I played with a bunch of different ink and kind of showed and did the same kind of process and gave you my deeper thoughts, what I was doing with it, why I was doing it, all that. Should I just do one where it's just 6? I don't know. I really wanted to start getting this done because I've been talking about doing my pink inks for a long time. And how many did I do here? I did 11 inks. So I could definitely do less if you would like it shorter. I really struggle for myself with speeding it up because I do like you to see how long this takes too. It's kind of my MO. I can speed it up. I am capable of editing videos, but it's not something I don't like to do it just because I want you to be here with me during my time. So just let me know because this was a lot of inks, but I oh, look at how lovely they are together. Can we just appreciate it for a second? When you look at the swatches of them, they have all the swatches. Just looking at the swatches and not looking at the writing, they are so different and so beautiful. And they make my heart so happy. And this is why I do this. This is why I share this. This is my passion right here. This is my love is the ink colors. I cannot get enough of it. I obsess over it, which I'm okay with because it is always changing. And it's why I really have a hard time not buying more ink because this right here, oh, like this one has purple in it. This one has coral going on, but with brown and they're also different. Green over here. What? Oh, beautiful. It just, it makes me so happy. Thank you for being here today. Let me know what your favorite color in this set is. I don't know what my favorite color in this set is. I'm really having a hard time, but I definitely know that funny enough, the most brown of the inks is the one I want to ink up the fastest. I just had this one inked. I did just have this one inked in fairness. 237 has been inked quite often this year. So maybe that says something. I had Hanukkah Murray just inked. I should do Opera Rose too. Oh, I just love the dynamic mixy colored inks. And I am going to let you go because now I am just babbling. And I appreciate you. Links, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Share this if you found this really helpful and informative. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.